No, they're undefeated.
Oh, they're undefeated. Okay, so then Florida comes into it. The only reason they missed the national championship is because they lost to
They lost
to
in the SEC championship.
yeah to Alabama. So the obvious one here is Florida, right? But are you going to agree with that, or what are you thinking in the Sugar Bowl?
I'm going to take it, but not because it's so obvious. This game has a really good potential for a lot of drama. Cincinnati's coach, Brian Kelly, is now the Notre Dame head coach, so they're without their head coach.
Wow.
There. So they could either fall flat, or they could come out and play crazy for their coach that's no longer there. Coach Kelly had come out and said, you know what, I would be staying for this bowl game and then taking the Notre Dame job later if it was the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
The reason he didn't go is because, look, he did everything he was supposed to. He beat everybody on schedule, and he didn't get a chance to play for the national championship. So he said, I'm moving on to a school where if I take Notre Dame undefeated, I'm sure it's going to be in the national championship.
Exactly.
On the other hand, we've got Florida. Tim Tebow's last game as a college football player. You know, he's been to the Heisman ceremony 3 times, won it as a sophomore, 2-time national champion, once as a true freshman. He was there last year, lost the hard game to Alabama. He's going to play lights out. This is not a guy that's really picked to go first overall in the draft. He's a really good, probably one of the best college players ever. He'll probably go first day in the NFL draft, but not in the first 2 rounds. But he's just got to come out and play for himself, play for his team. He's going to leave it all out there. I think that's the reason Florida wins against a good Cincinnati team that doesn't have their leader. I'm probably going to say this one's going to be 38-20, 28.
Okay, that's it. You're putting it a lot closer than I would. Now, I know that's because obviously I know more about Florida than I do about Cincinnati, and when you think of Tebow, like you're talking about, and just all around, they seem, like an incredible team, and like they were last year. And so I've got a little bit. I would say you're going to see a little bit more of a blowout for Florida, but like I said, I have no clue. You obviously are schooling me when it comes to knowledge. So
the Cincinnati team is sort of hard to pick right now because if they've got their coach, their first-string quarterback is the most proficient in the country, and then he goes down to an injury, and this coach coaches up the second-stringer to just straight up replace him, and he actually does better than the first-stringer. I mean, this team put up points, given most of it was in the Big East.
Yeah.
So not all the teams were great. But in the tough games, where you thought it was going to be close, they blew them out. So I could be eating my words on this game. I just think that because if it was anybody else, I'd say, you know what, Cincinnati probably keeps it close, if not wins. But Tim Tebow is an S-factor. I know everybody love him or hate him. You got to admit, this guy shows up to play. He can lead his team, and that's why I think they get the edge. And since it's his last game, he gives a little bit more than you've ever seen Florida give on a national stage at the Sugar Bowl.
Definitely. And it's actually, I'm a little shocked that you would think that he wouldn't be going first round, actually. I was under the assumption that he would possibly go first round in the draft. They definitely talked about that if Locker was to go this year, which obviously he decided to stay in school another year, but that they might both go in the first round. But
It depends. It's going to take a special coach to take him. If I'm a GM or a coach, I just love that he wins. I don't know that he's the greatest quarterback. Maybe I think about making him a safety or a running back. I don't know. Kind of just seeing where he fits. If I were to draft him, I wouldn't have my heart on him coming in playing quarterback. He doesn't play in the most complex system in Florida, so that's a little bit of a knock. And he doesn't have the physical tools to make you go, oh, you know what? He's sure the quarterback. He's just a winner, and he's a football player.
Yeah, so we will move on, though, now to the big game, the national championship, which is between Texas and Alabama this year. And what are your thoughts on that one? I got to say, I'm really, I wouldn't even begin to guess on this one. I mean, I would obviously give a little bit of a nod to Texas, but I don't really have a clue, so definitely enlighten me on this one.
Well, Alabama so far right now is a 4-point favorite, and Alabama's going to get a lot of media favoritism because they quote-unquote play in the best football conference in the country.
Uh-huh.
I do think there's a little bit of I think you can put a little stock in that. However, freshman quarterback, I believe freshman quarterback, he's a first-year quarterback. I don't know what year he is at school. Mark Ingram's a Heisman winner. I think he's an undeserving Heisman winner. He's no doubt a great running back, but he's not the best running back in the country. I just had to put my 2 cents in there. I'm really disappointed he got the Heisman.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about that because I actually believe there's a running back who I don't know the name because I've forgotten all the names. But there's a running back from Stanford who I believe is a better running back than Ingram. And
Toby Gerhart.
Okay, Gerhart. Yeah, and I'm a little shocked. I was really shocked, to be honest with you, at the Heisman. I was
no,
like,
it's kind of a political thing. There's a lot of hatred from the East about the Pac-10, and I'm not going to whine about it. It's there, but I'm not going to harp on it.
Yeah.
You know, the Stanford didn't go undefeated. It's not as sexy as a pick. And you also got to figure, too, whoever, you know, the media who does most of the voting, and then former Heisman, I mean, if you look at the regions, there's regions, you know, where everybody votes. And most of the players won their region. So Tuviera got almost all the picks from the Western region, which is like the West Coast states and most of Montana and Utah and Nevada and all that kind of stuff. And Colt McCoy won the South, the Middle South, so Texas, Nebraska, all that kind of stuff. But what you gotta remember is that they really like selling the national championship game with featuring the Heisman winner.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I think out of the past 8 years, every game but one has had the Heisman winner in it. And actually, they usually don't win, which is kind of a funny curse.
Yeah.
The winner usually doesn't win the national championship game.
But now last year, now correct me if I'm wrong, but last year Tebow did win the Heisman, and they did win the national championship, right?
No. Sam Bradford won the Heisman, and they lost to Florida.
Did he? Okay. Well, I was under the assumption that so has Tim Tebow not won the Heisman then?
No, he won a sophomore year when they went to Michigan in the Capital One Bowl.
Oh, okay. So Tebow did win it 2 years ago, not last. Okay,
that was the 1 year that the Heisman winner was not featured in the national championship.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Cool. Okay. So then, since I know we're going a bit over in time, so in Texas and Alabama, what is then your prediction for the game?
I'm picking the underdog. I'm taking Texas.
Okay.
I think that Colt McCoy, it's his last game as a quarterback. He doesn't have a whole lot to prove as far as his overall career. He doesn't need to put a winning cap and say, you know what, I'm a first-round draft pick, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Colt McCoy's got his head on straight. He knows what's important at the moment, and I don't think he's thinking about the draft yet. I think he's thinking about, we barely won the Big 12 championship. We almost weren't here. People don't think we should be here. So not only do I have to prove that we should be here, but we can win while we're here. And another note was pointed out to me that the defensive coordinator, the future head coach for Texas, Bill Munchkamp, for Texas, he coached for Nick Saban, who's the coach for Alabama. And I think it's true that when this person told me, nobody tries harder than, you know, an up-and-coming coach playing against his former mentor. And Alabama sort of just plays conservative straight-laced football. They play it well, but I think Texas comes out and surprises people. I think it's going to be a really close game. We're talking like under a touchdown. I'm taking Texas to win. A hard-fought, really exciting football game. I'm going to say, probably 35-28.
Okay, I was going to say 21-17 Texas, so we're kind of
It could be that too. I mean,
similar.
I think it's going to be close. It could be 10-7, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It could be anything from, you know, them both going out and offensively, you know, shocking everybody, or it could be how I kind of have seen it, which would be a very low-scoring game. But yeah, it's because you just never know. Sometimes you'll have these teams where you expect it to be low-scoring, and they end up being the little more higher-scoring games. So it could be definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch all these, and to watch, as you said earlier, to watch some of the lead-up games that definitely are worth watching. But thank you so much, Caleb, and have an absolutely wonderful holidays. And tell Nikki that I said hi and happy holidays, and take care of yourself, and all the best for 2010. We'll talk to you shortly.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for having me on.
No problem, man. Talk to you later.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.